That should be good. Good. Be good. I think we're okay now. Okay. And again, I'm gonna. Okay. Cool. We're good. Alright. Alright. So, I'll start off with the voice acting practice for today. Practice Poems of Horror. The Moor Ghost. Robert E. Howard. They hauled him to the crossroads, as the day was at its close. They hung him to the gallows, and left him to the crows. His hands in life were bloody, his ghost would not be still. He haunts the naked moorlands, about the gibbet hill, and oft the lonely traveller is found upon the fen, whose dead eyes hold a horror beyond the world of men. The villagers then whisper, with accents grim and dour, this man has met at midnight the phantom of the moor. And then there's this one here. The Witch by Mary Elizabeth Coleridge. I have walked a great while over the snow, and I am not tall nor strong. My clothes are wet and my teeth are set, and the way was hard and long. I have wandered over the fruitful earth, but I never came here before. Oh, lift me over the threshold, and let me in at the door. The cutting wind is a cruel foe. I dare not stand in the blast. My hands are stone, and my voice a groan, and the worst of death is past. I am but a little maiden still, my little white feet are sore. Oh, lift me over the threshold, and let me in at the door. Her voice was the voice that women have, who plead for their heart's desire. She came, and the quivering flame sunk and died in the fire. It never was lit again on the hearth, since I hurried across the floor to lift her over the threshold and let her in at the door. I guess that's a bit of a short one. Kind of a fun one. Anyhow. Alright. That was today's practice. It's a bit short, because I got something else I need to showcase for today. But, let's see if I can find another one. I don't know if I zoom out a bit. This is a really weird way to have a menu, especially on a website. It just pops out 1, 2, 3, 3 times. Let's go back with Fox and Socks. That's a fun one and a horrible one at the same time. Practice Fox and Socks by Dr. Seuss. I wish you luck getting through this without stumbling. Yeah, I won't. This masterful mouthful is so much better with illustrations, so why not go buy it? I think I have it somewhere hidden away in one of the storage totes somewhere. Anywho. Fox and Socks. Let's go. Fox, socks, box, knocks, knocks in box. Fox in socks, fox on fox in socks in box. Socks on knocks and knocks in box. Fox in socks on box on knocks. Chicks with bricks come, chicks with blocks come. Chicks with bricks and blocks and clocks come. Look, sir, Mr. Knoxer. Let's do tricks with bricks and blocks, sir. Let's do tricks with chicks and clocks, sir. First I'll make a quick trick brick stack, then I'll make a quick trick block stack. You can make a quick trick chick stack, you can make a quick trick clock stack. And here's a new trick, Mr. Knox. Socks on chicks and chicks on fox, fox on clocks and bricks and blocks. Bricks and blocks on knocks on blocks. Now we come to ticks and tocks, sir. Try to say this, Mr. Knoxer. Fox on fox stick, clocks on knocks talk. Sick brick stick, sick chick stock. Please, sir, I don't like this trick, sir. My tongue isn't quick or slick, sir. I get all those ticks and clocks, sir, mixed up with the chicks and talks, sir. I can't do it, Mr. Foxer. I'm so sorry, Mr. Knoxer. Here's an easy game to play, here's an easy thing to say. New socks, two socks. Whose socks? Sue's socks. Who sues whose socks? Sue's socks. You see who sues whose new socks, sir? You see Sue's new socks, sir. That's not easy, Mr. Fox, sir. Who comes? Crow comes. Slow Joe Crow comes. Who sews Crow's clothes? Sue sews Crow's clothes. Slow Joe Crow sews whose clothes? Sue's clothes. Sue sews socks of Fox and socks now. Slow Joe Crow sews knocks in box now. Sue sews rows on Slow Joe Crow's clothes. Fox sews hose on Slow Joe Crow's nose. Hose goes, rose goes. Nose hose goes some, crow's rose grows some. Mr. Fox, I hate this game, sir. This game makes my tongue quite lame, sir. Mr. Fox, sir, what a shame, sir. We'll find something new to do now. Here is lots of new blue goo now. New goo, blue goo, gooey, gooey, blue goo. New goo, gluey, gluey. Gooey goo for chewy chewing. That's what that goo goose is doing. Do you choose to chew goo too, sir? If, sir, you, sir, choose to chew, sir, with the goo goose chew, sir. Do, sir, Mr. Fox, sir, I won't do it. I can't say it. I won't chew it. Very well, sir. Step this way. We'll find another game to play. Bim comes. Ben comes. Bin brings Ben broom. Ben brings Bim broom. Bem bends Bim's broom. Bim bends Ben's broom. Bim's bends Ben's bends. Ben's bent broom breaks. Bim's bent broom breaks. Ben's band, Bim's band, big bands, pig bands. Bem and Ben lead bands with brooms. Ben's band bangs and Bim's band booms. Pig band, boom band, big band, broom band. My poor mouth can't say that. No, sir, my poor mouth is much too slow, sir. Well then, bring your mouth this way. I'll find it something it can say. Luke Luck licks lakes. Luke Duck licks lakes. Luke Luck licks lakes. Luck Duck licks lakes. Duck takes licks in lakes. Luke Luck lakes. Luke Luck takes licks in lakes. Duck licks lakes. I can't blab such blibber blather. My tongue isn't made of rubber, Mr. Knox. Oh, thank you. Now, come now. You don't have to be so dumb now. Try to say this, Mr. Knox, please. Through 3 cheese trees, 3 free fleas flew. While these fleas flew, fleezy breeze blew. Freezy breeze made these 3 trees freeze. Freezy trees made these trees cheese freeze. That's what made these 3 free fleas sneeze. Stop it. That's enough, sir. I can't take such silly stuff, sir. Very well then, Mr. Knox, sir. Let's have a little talk about Tweedle Beetles. Here we go. What do you know about Tweedle Beetles? Well, when Tweedle Beetles fight, it's called a Tweedle Beetle battle, and when they battle in a puddle, it's a Tweedle Beetle puddle battle. And when Tweedle Beetles battle with paddles in a puddle, they call it a Tweedle Beetle paddle battle. And when beetles battle beetles in a puddle battle, and the beetle battle puddle is a puddle in a bottle, they call this a Tweedle Beetle bottle puddle paddle battle muddle. And when beetles fight these battles in a bottle with their paddles and their bottles in a poodle and the poodles eating noodles, they call this a muddle poodle tweedle poodle beetle noodle bottle paddle battle. And, now wait a minute, Mr. Fox, when a fox is in the bottle where the Tweedle Beetles battle with their paddles in a puddle on a noodle-eating poodle, this is what they call a Tweedle Beetle noodle poodle bottle paddle muddle duddle fuddle wuddle fox and socks, sir. Fox and socks, our game is done, sir. Thank you for a lot of fun, sir. That's tough, but I actually did pretty good, personally, I think. But holy shit. That was Fox and Socks. But I do have something I actually need to, get a bit of a jump start on. Anyway. What's not to understand, huh? Anyway, I've got something for you guys. I have a box. It's a really big, overly long box. And it came in the mail yesterday. And I thought I'd open it up for you guys today. I believe this is the top here. Tweetle beetle puddle paddle battle battle. Tweetle beetle puddle paddle battle. Yeah, if you guys want me to say any weird poems or stories or what have you, just let me know. I'm reading these ones because they're the ones that are readily available. If you guys want me to read something specific, other than another Umineko visual novel or such, you've already got me that, and that's on the to-do list. But short little poems or stories or little beginning stuff, let me know. And here it is. And it's tri-stand. However, that's not all. I've got this box too. This box came as well. A little bit damaged. I'm a bit worried about that. See, it's, but not overly so. This will make a bit of sense in just a bit. I promise. Well, if you want me guys to, I'll read what you guys want me to. As long as I'm able to read it and it's not like horrible for people. Or, like personal belief, religion, shit like that. Just something funny and silly. I'm totally up for it. How well I do is another matter. Yeah, this is fine. This one, something else in here. Drawing all the fastenings and such. Let's clean up all these boxes. Jabberwocky? I know that name. I think that's... Isn't that Oblivion? No, that's Alice in Wonderland or something. But yeah, I'll read them up for you. Here we go with this doohickey. No, there it is. This is a sound redirecting thingy, sound muffler, and it collapses. Pretty cool. In case you couldn't tell, my microphone stuff has came in. Don't ask me how, don't ask me why, but my microphone stuff got shipped in a day. I don't know how. I didn't quite put overnight delivery, but it came in. And it came and arrived at work. We get boxes and packages all the time at work. It's Radio Shack. We get stuff that's restocked, new items coming in. We also run a P.O. box thing for people. They have boxes out in the back, and we get all sorts of random things from people. And when it came in, this was like a huge box. Because of the mic stand, they had to fit this thing. This is really large. In the box with all these other boxes. So it was this big, long, large, heavy box. And I was like, what the hell is this thing? Oh, that's my bike. That's mine. I wasn't expecting that till at least tomorrow. No, it can't work without a sound card just yet. That's on the way. In the process of being gotten. But I wanted to get this as soon as I could because I was able to. Little sticker. I love Rode microphones. Now, I'm starting to amass a small collection of stickers, and I've always been the guy who has been afraid to use them because it might not be a one I want to use forever. I might want to put it somewhere else. But I'm thinking I'm going to try and go away with that superstition, that problem I've had. Where are we? Little road microphone bag. Probably a cover for it. And here we are. And here will be my microphone for the foreseeable future, as soon as I can get it up and ready. Pretty neat. This represents my future. Which is pretty cool. The XLR cable for it. Just a little. This is the thing that causes all the problems. It don't plug into a computer like that. You need another box. The pronunciation poem and uploaded on YouTube. Clara has stolen corals from Carl, and Carl has stolen a clarinet from Clara. Jabberwocky. But yeah, sorry I missed those ones. I was a bit occupied with the boxes here. Oh, cool. Yeah, you guys recommended it to me, so I'm trusting you guys. And actually, it came in a kit. I wasn't expecting that. I didn't know they did those things. But it coming in a kit is really cool. I think it actually saved me a little bit of money because I was going to get them all individually from piecemeal things, and I wasn't sure if they would fit, would work right together, things of that. But this solves that problem. One last thing before I'll start with Umineko. Alright. Cuddle bear extraordinaire. Right. Welcome, buddy. Right. This is always something I've always thought was pretty cool looking. Never really understood what it was. Like, why do all these microphones have this weird little shock plate thing on them? It's a spiky box. It's like, why? What does that spiky thing do? It's just a microphone, right? But no, it's apparently a pop filter. I'd put this on here, but you guys wouldn't be able to see me because my microphone currently is right here, right on the other side of the camera. And putting that there would obscure my view, and you guys probably wouldn't enjoy that. But this is a shock mount. These bits here are rubber or some such elastic, and you put the mic on there, and it protects it from little bumps and such, which is pretty cool. I'll be setting it up, and I'll set it up when I can. It's a project for another day or later today or some such, but maybe I'll have it in the background just hanging up and just sitting there saying, just get it, use it, put it together. And such. And there's also some paperwork and things of that nature. I don't quite know what to do with it all quite just yet. Oh yeah, I got this box here. I think this is just a fastener for the shield cover. It's dearest creature in creation, setting in expression. Sounds like corpse, horse, and worse. Yeah. Corpse core. Yeah. Horse and worse. Yep. English. Gotta love it. My dad absolutely hates that stuff. Or the words read and read and lead and led. And there was a little internet poem somebody put in the comment. Writing out the words, read rhymes with lead, and read rhymes with lead, but read doesn't rhyme with lead, and lead doesn't rhyme with read. But it was 4 times where the same word was said in place. Like, people got mad at it. Yeah, these are just the fasteners and such to hold the shielding in place. Anywho, before this video gets overtaken with boxes and poems and such, let's take a look into the realm of the Crazy witch, what unexpectedness does she have for us today? She plays dirty. But you were a zombie. Me being a ghost. Don't even eat meat, huh? Really? Any particular reason? I'm not I'm literally questioning it, but I'm just curious. I had a friend who was in elementary school who was unable to eat meat. Anytime he did, he'd just toss it right back up. He couldn't keep any meat down. So I was exposed to vegetarianism at a very early age. He came in with like these odd burgers, and they were kind of weird. I think I had a part of one once. They weren't cheap, so obviously we couldn't quite share a bunch, but it's interesting. Cuddle bear extraordinaire, huh? Oh yes, Happy New Year, by the way. Going through the comments, I'm a bit bad at keeping up with them sometimes. But yeah, I'll write down death stuff. Alright, we got dearest creature. Oh, I found a thing to be helpful. There's a mute button on Umineko. I can just pop it up and mute it while we do some other stuff, which is really nice, because sometimes I load up the page, like if you've seen me do it before, and the music is off. It doesn't work. Or like earlier we had like when they're driving away in the get out vehicle, it was that really crazy jazz. And I'm sitting here trying to read like, what was it? Edgar Allan Poe or something. I don't know. Alright. Gory Cory. Oh yeah, by the way, in case any of you guys don't know, I'm fine with you guys calling me whatever the hell you want, as long as I know it's me. So if you start tossing out weird nicknames, and it's like, who the hell are you talking about? You. Oh, okay. I had some weird nicknames in football. I'm sorry. But, Zekio for leaving. Thank you again for the microphone recommendation. I will very much make use of it, as you've already seen. But yeah, I'm gonna work on the next part. I don't have enough funds for it. I may. We'll have to see. I'll have to check and figure it out. But yeah, thank you again for the microphone. Very much so. I figured it might have been something of that nature. Strangely. Oh, and Discord. Alright, cool. Yeah. Maybe I should start up a room of, like, reading suggestions for the day. Daily readings or some such. There's another one you guys recommended. Jabberwocky. Tweedlebeetle Puddle Bubble. Alright, I think that's Clara has stolen. Alright, but yeah. You guys want me to do any of that stuff? Just say the word, and I'll do what I can. Most of the time. It's library. There we go. Yeah. We already have a room for that. Overthinking things doesn't help at times. Alright. And so, back to the show. We left off with Angie. We left originally, the group got murdered by Kinzo, and then he teleported them to the underground dungeon in the other mansion in like the span of a few minutes at most. He has a telephone in there that they contacted the kids with, and they confirmed the time, and that causes problems. And so that's happening there. They talked to Kinzo and the other demonic beings. Cut to black, I think, I guess. And we went to the world of Angie, where she's researching Nanjo's son, who happened to have an envelope which contained a card key, a password, and like a bank account, or 3 items of some sort that led her to a bank with $100 million for her. She's going around looking at all the other people, siblings and relatives of the people who died, and they're having similar envelopes. Last one. Oh, I thought we didn't see him last time. Kumasawa Sabakichi. This dude here, who was, well here, Kumasawa's son, right there. First words right after. Works at the Nijima fishing harbor. He must have gotten his carefree, big-hearted personality from Kumasawa. Many of Kumasawa's sons are fishermen, so they're often away from land for their work. This one happens to work at the harbor, so it was only coincidence that I managed to get in touch with him. Kumasawa loved to talk, so I did hope you might have heard her let something slip, but not. And so, we're on the hunt and the detective skills to try and figure out what the hell is going on. There was like 20 other boxes that she found when she went to the when Nanjo's son went to the bank vault. Anyway, that's where we left off, and now she's trying to figure it out because she remembers she got one too. Here we go. I wonder if this new envelope was sent to support the theory that Beatrice was behind that crime. It was postmarked right before the family conference, and it was intentionally set up so that it would be sent back after some time. They wanted it to arrive after the incident. Is that it? Yeah, that's what it implies. But it raises a few questions. Why use such an uncertain method? Uncertain? Yes. After all, no one could even guess at how many days it would take for the mail to return before you used this trick. Normally, you couldn't even guess at the amount of time it would take for the receiving post office to do their research, determine that the recipient was unknown, and return it. And that's one that actually does take a while. Yeah, now that you mention it, it'd be more dependable if they just set an arrival date and mailed it that way. Oh, you. Maybe. But still, if they mailed it the day before, then no matter how quickly it returned, it would probably arrive Monday or later. I wonder if they wanted to make it seem like a letter from the dead. A letter from the dead, you say. You're right. It surprised me, and it made me feel bad. The mail with my dead family's name written on the outside in large letters was thrown into the mailbox with an ominous label attached. However, it doesn't really make sense to me. I would have mailed it to arrive on a specified day. I just can't understand why someone would allow the uncertainty of it arriving on a day other than the one they imagined. Uryu. But it really does sound like Beato to me. Huh? You know about Beato? Of course she does. Well, I only talked with her a little. Still, I can pretty much accept that Beato would do something like this. Can't you imagine that happening too, Lemon? Beato likes pranks like this, right? Yeah, that might be true. I wouldn't put it past Beatrice-sama to try a vicious prank like a letter from the dead. No, that's not all. Beatrice would find it more interesting to do it through an uncertain method, instead of one that was absolutely certain. She would find an uncertain method interesting? I remembered Maria One-chan's diary. It had described playing with Beatrice very often. During those times, Beato sometimes played pranks on the adult relatives with Maria. But those pranks always had a touch of witch aesthetics, which was that they were more interesting when they were uncertain. One day, Maria One-chan and Beato decided to use a wind-up minicar she had brought for a prank. It was a popular toy at the time, and if you made the minicar back up, it would wind up the spring in its tires, and when you let go, it would race forwards. They had wound up that minicar and set it behind a milk jug. In other words, the prank was that if you lifted the milk jug, the minicar would jump forwards and surprise whoever did it. Hoping that someone would get caught in this prank, One-chan and Beato had watched the adults from the shadows for their whole tea time. They were looking forward to seeing someone get caught by it, but no one was a trapped milk jug, and the trap ended in a misfire. When One-chan had then muttered, "We should have put it somewhere where it would have definitely caught someone," Beato apparently said this: "The most interesting and thrilling traps are those where you don't know who will get caught, or even if anyone will get caught at all." It's probably true that you wouldn't get this kind of excitement from a trap that would certainly go off. Similar accounts occurred in multiple places, making it possible to guess that the witch called Beatrice had a fickle character and loved a random thrill. A fickle person is very hard to deal with. I can't spin the chessboard around to find out what that witch from 12 years ago was planning. I've never been building any lumber yards. Not currently. My brother works in the lumber yard, so he actually does that stuff. He's millwright, mechanic, oiler, something of that nature. His actual title is uncertain. He wears many things. Built this cabin out of our own wood. So I have actually made lumber stuff. But yeah, it's I'm not unfamiliar with a lumber yard. I have actually worked them. Chainsaws and everything too. I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. But I'm not that kind of lumberjack. As Angie examined these, her gaze darted from place to place. Then, she suddenly showed interest in the wall. There, several framed pictures were hung. Many of them were commemorative photos from when the relatives of the Kumasawa family gathered or went somewhere to play, and Kumasawa was in several. And she still wore a smile that made it so you could almost hear her light-hearted laugh. It's part of my distant memory, but I definitely remember that she was this sort of cheerful old lady. Mackerel. Did you notice anything different about Kumasawa-san in the days leading up to the incident? No. It's the same as ever. The family conference put her on edge, so she was always grumbling about how tough it was. What's this? Among the several frames, there was one that had something other than a picture of people in it. It was a picture of an enlarged relief of a door from a Western-style house or something. You couldn't see any interesting subject in particular, which actually bugged me a bit, as I wondered why anyone had gone to all the trouble of taking it. As I got closer, I realized that some characters had been written with a pen. Oh yeah, that's the photo I got when Mother's belongings were distributed. I think it probably has something to do with that Legend of the Gold thing. The witch's epitaph, you mean? It was whispered that it pointed out the location of the hidden 10 tons of gold. So, Kumasawa-san tried to solve it too. But this isn't the epitaph. It's the first time I've seen it. There was an arch above the western-style door, and that's where the relief was. English words were engraved there, and that seemed to be what the picture was focused on. The pen writing appeared to be a translation into Japanese. This door is opened only at the probability of a quadrillion to 1. You will be blessed only at a probability of a quadrillion to 1. I don't recognize it. Nothing like this ever showed up in the epitaph or on One-chan's diary. In Mother's belongings, there was quite a few photos and notes that looked like her trying to solve the riddle of the epitaph. Mother was actually surprisingly fond of that kind of thing. And there was a rumor that 10 tons of gold bars were hidden somewhere. It's no surprise she got so absorbed by it. Bee's knees and the cat's meow, man. The cat's meow, huh? I understand the bee's knees ones, but the cat's meow just seems normal to me. I don't know. I've never fully understood that term. Oh wait, that's Alley cats. Duh. Come here. Well, I'm a professional dancer. Oh, but yeah. Keep things fun here. At least we try to, if people would just stop dying all the time. Man, it's really upsetting the mood here, man. In both Maria Onechan's diary and in her grimoire, there was a description of the witch's epitaph. It had talked about how it was a ceremony to open the door to the Golden Land, Beatrice's resurrection ceremony, Beatrice's succession ceremony. On and on. Maybe the most interesting one was the last part, about it being a succession ceremony. According to Beatrice, if you were able to solve the witch's epitaph, you would receive not only the 10 tons of gold and the Ushirimiya family inheritance, but her own magical power and name, as well as the title of Golden Witch. Among the Ushirimiya family household at the time, the witch's epitaph was thought of as a difficult quiz, which the family head Kinzo had arranged for to choose his successor. But with the marriage interpretation, the questioner was Beatrice herself, and she had posed the question in part to choose her successor. There were slight discrepancies in the details of the two interpretations. Either way, its ominous contents brought to mind a bloody serial murder, and both of the message bottles drew a tale of a crime following that pattern. If I could solve the witch's epitaph now, 12 years later, I wonder if I could expose some plot made back then. I tried to solve it many times myself, but I never did have a clue what it meant. It seems that many witch hunters tried as well. I also found theories like the La Plata theory and the Enora theory in certain books. However, neither of these theories were conclusive. It's the busyness. That's an interesting take on it. Fascinating things about language. It's like so many things that sound similar and they all get words transformed into something different. But I could maybe see that. I think misheard representation and transformed. But yeah, the bee's knees, I understood it, is bees go to flowers, collect pollen, and all the pollen gets packed up on their knees. And so their knees become a very attractive place to be for the pollen, which is where my understanding of the phrase came from. Like, it makes sense. But then there's that one too. It's the business. When you say Italian, you have to use your hands. It's a required aspect of Italian. You can't do it without it. Or so I've been told. Are there any other materials? I think so, but they were all split up between my siblings. I don't have a clue who has what. Sorry. Just reading this English text that Kumasawa-san took a picture of, it gives the impression that this was a forbidden door that was rarely opened. But where in the mansion is it, I wonder? Judging by the lighting, it looks like it's outside. I wonder if Kumasawa-san thought the gold might be hidden in there. Who knows? Either way, I do wonder where in the Rokkenjima mansion it was. I hate to say it, but there wasn't enough money in Mother's bank account to make me think she found the gold. She probably didn't find it after all. Yes, Mr. Bond, yes. And just step right over there, and my death lasers will take care of everything. Or something like that. It's the bee's knees, man. The bee's knees. Understand, comprende? Wait, is that Spanish? They get mixed up, I guess. Something like that. It's the bee's knees. Italian is not my forte. I am not fluent in it. We'll leave it at that. I just know memes of it. The Golden Witch Beatrice gave 10 tons of gold to Kinzo, which meant that the witch was the true owner of the gold. Beatrice was the owner of all the vast fortune of the Ushimiya family. The witch, holding this vast wealth, had massacred the humans on Rokkenjima on that day, sending large amounts of money to the surviving relatives like it was a game. Like hell, it's a letter from the dead. This is a desecration of the dead. I was once again convinced, when my family died on that island that day, they didn't go to heaven. They're being trapped by the witch even now, and they're being desecrated and tormented for all eternity. Well, that sounds like fun. The last place Hanji visited was a store in the region between the housing district and the retail stores, with a signboard saying, Marufuku Sleep Shop. There lived the man who had been the boat captain of the ferry boat to Rokkenjima at the time. Even he, who had once lived as a man of the sea, had retired after contracting a serious illness. I was now taken care of at the house of his son and his son's wife. I remember it very well. You were still about this small. Look how you've grown. And must have been very tough on you. I know very well how you must feel. This is? These guys aren't overly important characters. These are side characters. So I'll pop them up as we go. Captain Kawabata. An old man who used to be a captain of a high-speed boat that went to and from Rokkenjima. At least among those still alive, he's certainly the person most familiar with matters concerning Rokkenjima. The media hoped he might have learned details of the situation inside the Ushimiya family from various discussions with servants going to and from the island. However, he never said anything, so they eventually began to forget this old man. That's sad, but honestly the only way to fight press, stop talking about it, people forget it's happened, and they'll just go about their day. But yeah. The former boat captain was in such high spirits that you couldn't really tell why he had retired in the first place. His memory seemed clear, too, and he could remember the events of more than a decade ago well, apparently even about how Angie had been at the time. The way he chatted on was very helpful for Angie, but at the same time he also remembered the final family conference very well. And the fact that he remembered even details like Battler's fall madness on the boat was actually painful for her. It had been so back then as well, but even now there was no public way to cross the Rokkenjima. It was necessary to make an individual request to an owner of a boat to make the voyage. I'd been unable to arrange for a boat to Rokkenjima, so if he refused me, such a voyage would probably become hopeless. I get you. It won't be easy to find a boat eager to go to that island. By now, there are even some who call it by its old name, Akujigishima, instead of Rokkenjima. It's understandable why the sailors around here would turn down your request. From the start, fishermen had feared Rokkenjima as an island of misfortune. And, because of that incident 12 years ago, this fear had reached a peak. They respected the sea, feared it, and revered it. There were almost no sailors who would try to take a boat to the cursed island. Because of that, most of the witch hunters were unable to cross over to Rokkenjima, and were limited to taking a trip around the island. Ironically, this had caused the sense of mystery surrounding Rokkenjima to increase even more, which had resulted in the propagation of the bizarre witch stories they loved so much. Could you take me in your boat? Yep. They're supposed to give it back to me just for tomorrow. Though it seems its engine has been in a pretty bad mood lately. I'll knock it into shape. The former boat captain promised that tomorrow he would go back to his previous job and take his boat out to Rokkenjima. Now, my method of transport to Rokkenjima is ensured. This is probably all I can do on the Jima. All that's left is tomorrow. On Rokkenjima, I'll reach the final destination of a journey that stretches back 12 years. Isn't that great? This way, it looks like you'll be able to go to the island. It sure does. I'd heard that it would be hard to find a boat, so the boat captain's helpfulness really saved me. Although, it may not be the same as if it was for you, Angie-sama. I'm sure the incident 12 years ago has been a thorn for the boat captain as well, one that he still hasn't been able to pull out. Uryu. Even the boat captain wasn't able to sort out his feelings. This whole time. That's probably true. If that guy had taken his boat out on October 5th as promised, there's a chance that he could have saved a lot of people. If he hadn't been hesitant to go out just because of a little wind. Not just wind. You shouldn't say things like that. I'm sure that's pained the boat captain constantly until today. Apparently, they truly had been right in the middle of a typhoon on October 5th. According to the boat captain, he had known for certain that they'd be trapped on the typhoon if they headed to Rokkenjima on October 4th. But the family had been very persistent about the date of the conference, which had been determined beforehand. It was only natural. All of the relatives had been very busy at the time, and they came to the family conference only after arranging their schedules beforehand. It was probably a situation where they couldn't easily push it back to the next week, just because the typhoon was approaching. It wasn't the boat captain's fault, but perhaps you could say that he wasn't so irresponsible that he could place the blame wholly on the typhoon. Certainly, just as these two said, there's no doubt that the boat captain has been dragging the events of 12 years ago along with him this whole time. And, by taking me, the last member of the Umineko line, to the island, and bringing me back safely, he might be trying to find some resolution for his past. The boat is supposed to return just after noon. I'll guide you to Rokkenjima after that, but we should arrive before evening. It's an island without electricity or lights. You won't be able to stay long. Will you be satisfied with landing that short? There's nothing that would make me more satisfied by staying longer. I'm grateful just to have you take me there. Yep, don't mention it. If I hadn't parted with my boat, I'd be able to guide you to the island as much as you liked, without being stingy. It's not like I have a goal of doing something in particular on Rokkenjima, so I'll be there during the evening. The evening, which straddles the two different worlds of day and night, seemed almost like a borderline between this world and the next, or possibly 1998 and 1986, and it felt like the most fitting time to visit Rokkenjima. It's not like I have anything in particular to do there. Just staying there for a few hours should be enough for me to find some closure. At that time, there was a small knock on the paper sliding door, and Amakusa stuck his head in, tapping his watch. I nodded back and told him about how I had succeeded in reserving a boat for tomorrow. That's great. It's about time for us to go. We'll be counting on you tomorrow, Captain. Sure, leave it to me. I've heard all about what you guys have gone through. I also watched the talk shows at the time, and was disgusted by the people who stirred up that incident just for fun. I'll help out any way I can. Thank you very much. Then, we'll see you noon tomorrow. Here. The fare for the boat. Angie took a wrapped wad of 10,000 yen bills from her pocket. The boat captain should have noticed its thickness as well, but he paid it absolutely no interest and shook his head. I'm grateful to you. This is a sign from the heavens. I've been given a final chance to take you to Rokkenjima and bring you back safely. Now, I'll finally be able to finish the final job Kinzo-san entrusted me with. So I'm grateful to you. I got more than enough money from Kinzo-san back then. I can't accept yours. Thank you very much. Watch your step on the stairs. It's steep. I went down the steep staircase that was the exact opposite of accessible. It was getting hard to believe that there was actually a chest of drawers and a TV in the room upstairs. I've done stuff like that yet. It's amazing what you can do. Most of the first floor was a bedding store with many futons piled up on each other. We weaved our way through the cramped futon shop. After cautiously checking around and outside, Amakusa dashed out first and started up the car. My grandchild's room is empty. I really wouldn't mind if you stayed there. As you see, we've got plenty of extra futons. I've actually got one too. It's like sitting in my loft up there. But it's not the best. Thanks a lot for the offer. But this way, even if the unexpected happens, you won't be bothered. I don't know the details, but it seems you've been caught up in a lot of trouble. There's a rumor that some suspicious people are searching for someone. That wouldn't happen to be you, would it? Who knows? Angie played dumb, but it looked as though the boat captain had guessed. My job is to take guests to Rokkenjima and bring them back again. That job was put on hold 12 years ago, and it still hasn't ended. So, thanks to you, I'll finally be able to finish it. So listen, let me finish this job, okay? Do you understand me? Yeah. It's not like I'm going there to die. But part of me does feel that if I could die on that island, I'd surely be able to go to where my family is. I've finally become aware of it. I might have been planning to die on that island. I might have come all this way, heading towards Rokkenjima, in search of a place to die. The boat captain had guessed that as well. That's why he repeatedly told me not to die. Yeah, I won't die. I promise. After all, I'm still not sure if there's any reason why I need to go to Rokkenjima. No, I'm sure there's a reason. Even if there isn't one for you, there is one for them. The island called you. That's why you came here. That might be true. I might have been called. I was called. For what reason? For them. Father, mother, Battler Oni-chan, and Maria One-chan. Or maybe the Golden Witch, Beatrice. What is on Rokkenjima, and what will I achieve? Even though tomorrow is finally almost here, I still haven't been able to understand my own mission. There was the sound of a car stopping in front of the store, and the short honk could be heard. Then I'll see you tomorrow, if you'll excuse me. Yep. Winding between the stacks of futons in the cramped store, I was about to go outside. Then, my feet stopped. What is it? What is that? That? What? What are you talking about? Trembling all over, I pointed at it. But no matter how much the boat captain squinted, he noticed absolutely nothing in that direction that should have surprised me. That must mean... Impossible! Why? You... Angie, what does it mean? What's going on here? I don't have a clue either. There's no way something that ridiculous. Is this magic? A miracle? Yes, this is probably fate. Now, I understand. This was my mission. I don't have a clue what... Shaking, I pointed into the thin darkness inside the store, and froze up. What is it? You see something there, don't you? I don't see anything. What is it you see? Thank you, Captain. Everything was fate. Even me visiting this place was fate. This is the mission and the purpose that I'm going to Rokkenjima for. Angie-san? What is it? Is something wrong? I don't have a clue either. The skill just froze up while pointing into the darkness. Angie-san? Are you okay? What can you see? Can't you two see it? It's that, right there. Can't you see it? All I can see is the normal display case. There's no one there, right? Angie, I don't know what's going on. Is this a dream? Magic? What is it? Angie. Sakataro lifted his face towards Angie. From his eyes slid a single tear. Angie-sama. I understand. One-chan and Beatrice. Oh, you. This is magic, isn't it? Umineko no Nakukoro ni Rondo of the Witch in Reasoning. My guess is it's a picture she saw. Like a photograph or something of Beatrice and like Kinzo or something of that nature. That's my best guess. There's entirely a gut feeling. The test? Oh right, Kinzo was going to put them through a test. Let's see if we can find out what it is. Yes. Listen well. Once again, there was a call from Kraus to the guest house, and the message was, I just saw the sticker here, and realized what I can put the stickers on. That's always been my issue. I've have stickers. I even have a couple over there. One from like ArtStation from the posters. I got one from the Dreamkeepers, the contest I won, and this right here, the backside, I can fill all over with stickers. It's the perfect place to put them. I now have a place I can put stickers. I'm sorry, but that's always been my issue. I've never had something that I cared about enough to put a sticker on. Like, yeah, I could put it on there, but and it's like just something odd and significant you'll never see. I can put them on there. I can have stickers on it. Sorry, I just realized that, and that's really cool to me. Alright, sorry. That's just really cool to me. Alright, back to the start. Once again, there was a call from Kraus to the guest house, and the message was that Kinzo wanted to hold a test to see if the grandchildren has qualifications to become his successor. The head has said that his successor will not be one of us siblings, that he wants to pick from among his grandchildren. From Kraus's restrained style of speech, Jessica realized as his daughter that he was being forced to speak, and she was forced to realize that the hostages were being exposed to danger, even now, and that if they refused this test, there was a possibility that the hostages would be harmed. Then, what should we do? Indeed. Hold on. Kraus put down the receiver, then looked at the grinning Kinzo on the other side of the bars. Kinzo gave his next order. Before the test, those not involved must be removed. Goda and Kumasawa are there, I believe. It will be a problem if they interfere with the test. Banish them from the guest house. Vanish, you say? There should be a gardening storehouse in the rose garden. Lock Goda and Kumasawa in there. We'll begin from there. Tell them to do it immediately. My weapons will be watching. If they happen to do anything questionable, I'll instantly stop the test and execute all of you as sacrifices. I understand. Hello, Jessica? Listen closely to what I say. Kraus relayed the orders to lock up Goda and Kumasawa. What kind of tests are you planning? It truly is a simple test. I only want my grandchildren to show me their resolve. Well then, I wonder what kind of results they'll show me. Looking disgusted, Kiri watched Kraus, who was talking with the children. I hate it, but for now we cannot refuse orders. In this dungeon, a feeble resistant won't amount to anything. If we provoke him too much and drive him into a position where he might kill us, there will no longer be any way to stop this murderer. For now, the only choice left is to obey his rules without agitating him, all the while waiting for an opportunity. However, if we continue to obediently follow his commands, the children might be attacked in the so-called test, and they might even lose their lives. Whether we feign obedience or try to resist, nothing will cause the situation to improve. Anyway, straining our eyes so that we don't let a single chance escape until the very end is the only resistance possible now. While telling herself this, Kiri watched over Kraus as he delivered Kinzo's orders. Kiri-san, let us be patient. I understand. It's unfortunate, but all we can do right now is wait. If only we could do something about these bars, we'd be able to return to the mansion. If only we could somehow get out of here. I'll try something. Kinzo-san, I have a request. What is it, my friend? We understand well that you want to test the children. It is fine for you to do as you desire. Without your power, the Ushimiya family might have been destroyed long ago. We truly understand why you want to carefully select the person who will take charge. Besides, that is what the family conference is all about. We won't get in your way. Your insight is useful. That's right. This is the family conference. The final family conference, where I will select my successor. And yet, Kinzo-san, it is far too cold here. Since we won't interfere with your tests, couldn't you take us to a slightly warmer place? At Nanjo's words, the slight signs that Kinzo's mood had been improving were blown away. Nanjo was struck with a moment of silence as Kinzo gazed at him with dangerous eyes, as though appraising him. Certainly, this place is cold. It's tough on an old body. Master, wouldn't it be alright if we moved them upstairs? I cannot do that. Are you naive, Nanjo? So, by acting as though you'll skip this turn, you truly and splendidly advance your strategy. I'm not falling for that, you see? If you're freezing, then why don't I line the floor with red-hot coals? My apologies. Virgilia had tried to help out, but in the end, Kinzo would not comply. You two sure are obedient. If you felt like it, you could easily break these bars. Even if we break them, nothing will come of it. Of course. If you were to break these, it would mean the end of the goldsmith's game. All of you, as well as those humans in the guest house, would immediately become sacrifices for Kinzo's ceremony. But surprisingly, you two might be the only ones. Yes? Perhaps only you two hold the power to break out of this situation. Right? You want to reach the Golden Land, don't you? You must have many dreams you want granted, right? Go. You mustn't provoke them. This is not your game. It is the Master's, as well as my lady's game. What is it, Ronave? Oh no, nothing. We were talking to the prisoners. Forgive us. Gap sent one final sneering smile at Cannon, then turned away. Cannon could only spite his lower lip and shake his fists. Damn it. You did well. Good job hanging in there. We're powerless. Because we're furniture. That's right. We're powerless. However, furniture is sometimes relied upon, and even loved. Right now, we've only been stored away in the basement. Surely, one day, somebody will love us, because they'll rely on us. That's why, for now, let's ignore the provocation and bear with it. Okay? No comment. Father, I've ordered them to lock up Goda and Kumasawa in the storehouse. Very well. Hang up now. Siesta sisters, observe the grandchildren as they lock Goda and Kumasawa away. If they do anything suspicious, then in that moment, the selection test for my successor will be over. When Kinzo made his order, the Siesta sisters appeared behind him in a line. Understood, sir. I will scout. 556 and 410 will cover both flanks. 45, you're on wide area surveillance. 556. 0. 556 is... Ah. That's right. Sorry. He was a good kid. That's why I don't like them. Yeah. Good people. What are you doing, Siesta sisters? Follow my orders. My apologies, sir. Then, let us go observe. Move out. The Siesta sisters erased their forms simultaneously. Nanjo and Kiri had witnessed the instant they appeared and disappeared as if by teleportation, but they interpreted this as moving in and out of the darkness in a way that only looked like teleportation, and the two could do nothing but rub their eyes. Well then, I shall begin the preparations for the test. Runaway, Gap, I'm asking you to be the examiners. Regalia, you'll watch these rats. After all, 2 of my furniture are here. Just in case, be on your guard. He glanced at Shannon and Cannon. Tightly closing her eyes, Shannon gave a silent bow and answered wordlessly, avoiding any unnecessary actions. Certainly. I'll be careful. Isn't this cold hard on your body, Leah? Did I bring you a hot water bottle? Shut up. Go quickly. Gap. Well now, what a strange experience this game is, to have a test and examiners. I do hope this development entertains my lady. Come, arise, goat attendants. Regalia began to call out into the darkness, and from that spot, 3 massive goat-headed attendants suddenly appeared. Ah, Beato's minions. How convenient. Plus, they seem so warm. I see. So you use them instead of a hot water bottle. In that case, wouldn't sheep have been better than goats? You're the one wearing cashmere. They aren't very bright, but they'll faithfully follow orders and are quite dependable. Indeed. I leave it to you, my friend, Regalia. The rest of you, follow me. With a dignified gesture, Kinzo fluttered his cloak. Following him were Ranove and Gap, as well as the 3 recently summoned goat attendants. Hey, you 3 are supposed to wait here with me. Don't follow them. The goats jumped in surprise and then came tottering back. Kiri, who had been watching stunned as all of this was played out, couldn't help but snort. What's entertaining, underlings? Lord Goldsmith did not give you permission to speak. He was probably embarrassed. Regilla had spoken coolly, but Kiri saw through that, and for a little while she couldn't restrain her muffled laughter. However, on the inside, Kiri was surprised at the number of people Kinzo had with him. After all, including Kinzo himself, at least 10 enemies had already been spotted. Yeah, I noticed it. The dungeon they were currently locked in was supposedly underneath the hidden mansion called Kuadorian. Although this mansion had been whispered of, not even Kraus had known of its existence until today. Are there actually several facilities like this on Rokkenjima, where many unknown henchmen that only Kinzo knows of hide? Just how many humans are on Rokkenjima, locked away by the typhoon? No, on the contrary. Were we the only ones under the impression that there were only 18 people on this island? Were we, who bickered over whether Beatrice existed or not, and worried about whether a 19th person existed or not, nothing more than the frogs in a well on this island? No, wait, not only that. By now, are there actually more people on the enemy's side than on ours? Just what the hell is going on? Witches? Demons? Magic? Are you telling us to believe in these? Are my eyes screwed up? Or is it my head? I think I'm losing it. A mass murder by magic. Demons forming and disappearing into thin air. Setting aside the enemy's numbers, how should we interpret the various things thrust before our eyes that cannot be explained with the common sense of our world? Kiri started to feel like she didn't know what was going on anymore. And, while desperately battling the urge to abandon everything and give up, she grit her teeth and tried to hold on to her sanity. Obviously, Goat and Kumasao were quite unwilling to be locked in the rose garden shed, but they were threatened that, if they resisted, the hostage's safety could not be guaranteed. It was fairly hard to get them to agree, but once they started thinking that their safety might actually be guaranteed if the key to the garden and storehouse was to be handed to them after being shut inside, and when it was decided that blankets and food would be carried in for them, they were finally convinced. This place is pretty chilly. I wonder how long we'll have to stay locked in here. It could be as late as Monday morning at the worst. The full day and night. I really feel bad about doing this to you two. George and Butler cleared a space on the floor, then spread the blankets there. They also left the canned food, crackers, and other light snacks they had brought. It'll be hard for you guys to go out until Monday with just this. If only we could make a trip to the kitchen. They said not to go anywhere we were not told to. Sounds like we're being watched. Yeah. I'm honestly sorry that we cannot be of any use, and these are the times that we are truly supposed to be at your sides. It can't be helped. More importantly, take care of Kumasawa-san. We don't know what might happen. If the going gets tough, I'd like you to play it by ear and come to the rescue. And more than anything, I want you to be safe. Yes, I understand. Please be careful, everyone. Right now, the Master is taking human lives like they're pieces on a chessboard. Please look out for yourselves. Goto stared at the floor, even now unable to believe what had happened as he remembered that atrocity in the dining hall. And he hung his head in shame at his failure to fully describe that terror. Thank you. Make sure you stay on your guard. You too, Kumasawa-san. And you all please take care as well. I don't have any idea what's going on anymore. Well then, we'll be off. Let's go, Butler-kun, Jessica-chan. Come on, you too, Maria-chan. Ooh. Maria is a bit of a wild card at this point. Looking at the pitiful expressions on the imprisoned pair's faces, it got really hard to close the shutter. But we can't disobey. We're being watched. The shutter was brought down and locked. Then George walked towards a small window on the side of the storehouse. At that side there was a small latticed window that could only admit light and ventilation. It looked like something from a jail, making the two of them seem even more pitiable. but on the other hand, it would hopefully protect them from Kinzo and his subordinates. He opened the window and called out, "Are you okay? You aren't cold, are you?" "We're okay. You've given us so many blankets after all. If we wrap ourselves up, we'll be just fine." I wish we could have brought them a kerosene stove or something. I actually have one of those. But it wouldn't have ventilation here. It'll probably be tough for them, but there's nothing we can do now. Hostages are being held against us. We can't disobey. Damn it! We managed to save Kiri and the rest somehow. They might be listening. Goda-san, here. It's the key to the shutter. Indeed. I'll hold on to it. Goda took the key, showed it to Kurosawa, and placed it in his own pocket. There's only one key to the guarding shed's shutter. That key was being held by the ones locked up inside it. If the children had kept it, and had it stolen from them by some chance, that would do nothing but expose the lives of those in the shed to danger. And even with the key, the shutter could not be opened from the inside. God damn. Give me 1 sec, I gotta go fix something real quick. That's the one I think. Alright, give me a sec. It's low disk space message, so I gotta transfer it, otherwise I won't be able to record anymore. Shifting them around. That should be enough, but give me a minute. Okay, you should be okay. And even with the key, the shutter could not be opened from the inside. Kinzo's demands were fulfilled this way. However, there was now no longer any way to open the shed from the outside either. This protected them. Kinzo had ordered that they be confined, and we could do nothing but trust that this cold, closed room would protect them. Jessica watched this while holding Maria's hand, then looked over the thickets in the pitch-black rose garden. Somewhere in this darkness, somebody was hiding, watching to see whether we obeyed orders or not. Of course, when we pointed our flashlights out there, no suspicious silhouettes appeared. But somebody was surely out there, hiding and watching. I was hit many times with an urge to scream at them, but I was able to hold that urge back through reason. The 4 children left the area, repeatedly looking back over their shoulders. The light from the faint light bulb in the gardening storehouse was seeping out slightly. I wonder if this insane incident will come to an end somehow, so that we can meet those 2 again. George, who had closed the shutters himself, the resistance of the lock had made it feel as though he'd killed them with his own hands. But even so, we can't defy them. What's with this test? Damn geezer, don't screw with us. Killing Mom, capturing Dad, for that? I don't get it. I'll kill him. It's okay, Jessica and A-chan. There's nothing to be sad about. Maria. Soon, the witch will be revived. Soon we'll be able to meet in the Golden Land. Oh. Don't laugh indiscreetly like that. Seriously, there's a resurrection ceremony for a witch? Getting so many people involved, and delusions he should have just kept inside his head. That's gonna cost you, bastard. Let's return to the guest house. It'll be bad if we aren't there when Grandfather calls. Urged on by George, everyone began walking towards the guest house. At that moment, Jessica turned in a circle. facing towards the darkness of the rose garden, and roared. Hey! Someone's watching, right? Tell the old man. Tell him I'm gonna fucking kill him. Let's go. Of course, there was no reply, only the howl of the wind and rain. The children returned to the guest house, while fearing what was waiting for them up ahead. Yeah. You bunny people better watch out. We're gonna do stuff. After they left, from the exact point in the darkness that Jessica had yelled at, 2 rabbit ears sprung up. I can see her yelling it off in the distance, and like one of these hedge bushes, just popping right out of the bushes. So sorry. They found me out. It's because you're too slow, Nia. Ben Dragon-sama is going to scold you. I'm sorry, please don't Dragon-sama. Be quiet. It was obviously just a bluff. Goda and Kumasawa's imprisonment confirmed. Mission complete. We'll report back. Yay! Out! Do you want us all stuck on nothing but carrots and water because of collective responsibility? Let's go. Very silly people. Also very deadly, but very silly people. That honestly describes a lot of people in this story. Just about everyone, actually. The fact that they were being watched certainly seemed to be true. Because when they returned to the cousin's room, turned the lights on, and laid down on their beds, the phone rang again. Earlier, Jessica had been answering the phone, seeing as this was her house, but how it was the eldest George who picked it up. This time, Kiri-san was on the other end of the line. George handed it to Battler out of consideration. Hello. Kiri-san? Is everything alright over there? Thanks for worrying. At the moment, we're all doing great here. Sorry. I've been ordered to refrain from idle chatter. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The fact that they were hostages still hadn't changed. Kinzo, or one of his subordinates, was listening to the conversation. Battler restrained the urge to talk about other things, and focused on what Kiri had to say. The test will be carried out by Jessica-chan, George-kun, Battler-kun, and Maria-chan, in that order. You'll each be summoned in turn, so until then, do not leave the room. When someone's called out, they'll head to their designated location, alone. Battler repeated it out loud, so that the cousins listening in around could hear him. So it'll be Jessica, Aniki, me, and Maria, in that order, and we've got to stay in the room until we're called, right? Got it. Maria too? Even a 9-year-old girl. What's the damn keys they're trying to force us to do? Sure. Battler noticed a strange nuance in Kiri's words. Even without any blood connection, he could still understand, thanks to the long-lasting bond they shared. At this point, it doesn't make sense to worry about the Ushimiya family itself. That probably wasn't the message Kiri wanted to send. She probably meant there's no way for us to escape from this dungeon, and we can only wait to be rescued. Yes, it's a serious test. Grandfather truly does intend to test you all. It's useless. It's all useless. Some old fart on death's door is going to give me a serious challenge. Let him spout nonsense after he gets in the coffin. I know he's there, so tell him this for me. I'll be your successor, and my first action will be to shove my fist into your face. Even without Kiri having to repeat it, Battler's powerful declaration of war reached Kinzo's ears. Battler, I am truly looking forward to that. I can't wait to see just what a man who once threw away the Ushimiya name has attained. Just what lot in life he's reached when he appears before me. Tell him. Unfortunately, Kinzo's voice was not picked up by the receiver. Therefore, Kiri spoke for him. It sounds like he's more than up for the challenge. Got that, Battler-kun? There's no need to hold back. You are Rudolph's Battler-kun? There's no need to hold back. You are Rudolph's son. Oh, stuff. Oh, huh. Interesting. You are Rudolph's son. No, you are my son. Show me something I can brag about to anyone. I leave everything in your hands. I'll look at that in a minute. Understood, Mom. Leave the rest to me. All of us here have lost the right to inherit the position of successor. Now, we're just the same as pieces taken off the game board, looking on from the outside. So you'll have to fight by yourselves. Kitty-san. The nuance of those words meant, we've already given up, so forget about us. But, for that very reason, I won't give up. I'll definitely crush this test or whatever, and save everyone. In that case, here are his instructions for the first test. Jessica-chan's. Go to your room. Really? Go to your room? What's your game, you damn geezer? It seems he means Jessica-chan's personal room, the one in the mansion. I'll hand it over to Jessica. Tell her directly for me. Jessica, here. Hello? Moshi Moshi? Yes, I understand. Starting with me, huh? Well, I've been ready. See you later. Even Jessica was probably tempted to succumb to the fear of a girl her age. But she crushed those feelings and strengthened her resolve. Be careful, okay? We're probably being watched, right? We can't do anything we aren't told. All we can do is exactly what they say. They say that old geezer killed those 6 in the dining hall instantly, with no hesitation. So, if we try to fight back, we might end up the same way. I know. I'll beat them at their own game. Don't do anything reckless. If you think you're in any danger, your own safety comes first. If Uncle Kraus finds out that his daughter sacrificed herself for him, there's no doubt it'll tear his heart apart. It goes the other way too. If Mom and Dad are both killed, and I'm the only one left, my heart will rip itself to pieces. Battler-kun, what you said earlier is true, right? Yeah. Kiri-san and the others are already prepared for what will happen. Then, the way things are now is just perfect. Everyone's lives rest on our shoulders. The hostages can't do anything while they're locked up. That means we'll have to manage something ourselves. If something happens, run back to the guest house. At that time, we'll be done playing along with Grandfather's game. Aniki. At that time, we'll declare war. Wherever they're locked up, we'll save them, and we'll deal with Grandfather accordingly. Are you sure, Aniki? Shannon-chan's there too. That's why I'm saying it. I'm not sitting around and waiting for my fiancée to be killed. What scares me is not that Shannon might be killed by Grandfather. I'm just worried you guys will get there first and clobber the damn geezer who made my fiancée experience terror before I do. I see. This really does sound like a test to see who will be the successor. Yep. The first one to bury a fist in that old face will be the next head. George, Battler, and Jessica each forcefully nodded their heads and put their fists together. Then, Jessica headed off to her own room, as designated. Her form disappeared in the darkness of the rose garden, waving in the strong winds. Watching her go, George and Battler gripped their fists even tighter, making them quiver. Left on the second floor, Maria watched Jessica's back through the window. She wore a blank expression. I wonder what everyone's getting so upset about. Even though when Beatrice is revived, everyone will be brought back to life. Jessica's form was already being completely swallowed up by the darkness. At that time, the phone began to ring again. Battler and George heard it and came clamoring back, but Maria picked up the receiver right away. Hello. Is that Maria-sama? It's me, Shannon. Would you please send the phone to George-sama? This time it was Shannon on the phone, and this time the message was to tell the next person, George, where he was to go. Problem. Crinkle. Umineko no Nakukoro ni, Rondo of the Witch in Reasoning. This family is nuts. Of course, since the time of her birth, Jessica had been raised in this mansion. The atrophied Western-style house that the cousins called a mansion was her home, and yet she had never understood her cousin's feelings as much as she did today. At the same time, she had never felt her own home, which she knew well, to be as alien as it seemed now. Her own room. This had once been her hideaway, the only place in this vast mansion where she could feel at peace. However, she had never felt as much pressure coming from that door as she did now. A test, you say? What the hell could be waiting in there? I'm not gonna find my desk and stuff dragged around all over the place, right? She acted tough, trying to deceive herself, trying to make herself believe that she wasn't scared of anything. Readying herself, she opened the door to her room. When she saw that, fortunately, the room didn't appear to be messed up, she relaxed. No one was there. Of course, there was nowhere for anyone to hide. Right away, Jessica locked the door behind her. This way, the room was safe. She peeked under the bed and in the closet, but of course, no one was hiding. What the hell? She looked at the clock. It was just past 11:30. As her tension lessened and fatigue came back to her entire body, she realized how messed up this whole day had been. It was still about 11. The plan had been for all the cousins to gather, have fun playing around, and talk animatedly about various things together into the night. Normally, we would have been doing that kind of thing right now. Why has this turned into this? It's all that damn geezer's fault. How could he do that to Mom? To everyone? She shook her head back and forth with anger and sadness. But there was no one here to direct those emotions at. Because of the locks, this room's security was guaranteed. Remembering that one more time, Jessica somehow regained her calm. Not a guarantee. If it keeps up like this and nothing happens, I want to go to the dining hall and see Mom's sad face. Even though Goda emphasized so strongly that it was gruesome and that I definitely shouldn't go to look at it. Even so, I wanted to see her face at the end. But we were warned repeatedly that stepping out of line, even a little, would put the hostages in danger. Could it be that locking the door was also against the rules? If I close myself up here, I alone might be saved. But if I don't open it, it will surely be against the rules, and Dad, Canon-kun, Shannon, and Kiri, and Dr. Nanjo will be killed. There's no way the scales will balance out between 5 lives and my own life. Jessica tightly shut her eyes, resisting the other part of herself that said, "Isn't it okay as long as I stay alive?" Faced the door, and made to unlock it. At that time, What? A crisp applause rang out, making Jessica's heart leap. If the door had remained locked, it might have been in violation of the rules, and harm could have come to the hostages. But, despite that, your own life might be saved. However, you resisted that temptation and were about to unlock the door yourself. That bravery of yours is worthy of admiration. Who? If I, the owner of this room, searched everywhere, and a human could have been hiding, where did this man come from? Honestly, that is insanely creepy. A girl in her own room, searching everywhere a person could hide, finding some random dude pop up from a locked door. That's kinda creepy. There was nowhere for a human to hide. But could something non-human have managed it? This was supposedly my first meeting with this largely built, middle-aged man. I didn't recognize this guy, who looked like a butler and bore the crest of the One-Winged Eagle. A pleasure to meet you, Jessica-sama. I serve as head furniture for the Master, the 27th of the 72. I am called Ronabe. Ronabe? Genji-san? Ah, yes. Genji is like my little brother. Or perhaps he was my true form while in this world. You might even say he was my vessel. What's this guy saying? I see the light up there, the top there, and I'm just picturing him like desperately clinging, like superly crouched up while just goes around, and then he silently pops down. Oh, my apologies. This is not something a human would be able to understand. Well then, let us move on to the main event. So this is that test or whatever the damn geezer talked about? Correct. This is the test that the Master has granted you, Jessica-sama. At Ronabe's elegant gesture, like that of a butler ordering for a meal to be set out, many gold butterflies flew up out of nowhere. What the hell? As the cloud of gold butterflies spun around in a small swirl, they gathered in one place. Then, that golden mound disappeared like a pile of leaves blown away by a cold, wintry wind. And there lay a western envelope with a One-Winged Eagle crest done on it in gold leaf. With a gesture, Ronabe urged her to pick it up. Jessica timidly did so, and opened the letter inside. What's this? It is an exceedingly simple test to determine whether one is qualified to become the successor. Please attend to the question written there with a fitting attitude for the successor who is to support the Ushurimiya family. And tell me your answer, as well as the thoughts that led you to it. Dumbass! Shaking, Jessica looked between the paper and Ronabe's face several times. At that time, George, who had been called out after Jessica, could be seen in the arbor of the rose garden. If things had gone normally, he had planned to give Shannon the ring that would be proof of their engagement, here, at this time, on this day. But the woman in front of George now was not Shannon. Read it. That is Goldsmith's test for you. George picked up the western envelope, which was on the table where he'd once had tea with Shannon, and read its contents. Perhaps its message was short. After glancing at it, George's eyes grew sharp. What's this supposed to be? It is as you see. This is the test given to you, to see if you're qualified to become the successor. As you ask yourself whether you truly are so qualified, answer that question. What a stupid question. That's right. It really is a stupid question. Doesn't that mean the Ushimiya family inheritance is also something on that level in Goldsmith's eyes? George lowered his eyes to the surface of the letter once again, examining its contents. George and Jessica. While the tests given them were slightly different, they were almost exactly the same. Among the 3 mentioned below, in order to gain 2, sacrifice 1. It's a simple 3 choices. Decide for yourself which one you will choose to abandon. If you refuse to choose, the test will be suspended. I've been given permission to kill you right here by my own hands. If you want to include even that as a choice, then there are 4 options. It's been an awful long time since I've gotten to play with a kid like you, so I can't say I'd be disappointed. Are these 3 choices only a test, or will the consequence of my choice be carried out? Don't be so naive. The one you choose will definitely lose their life. Among the 3 mentioned below, in order to gain 2, sacrifice 1. 1. Your life. 2. Shannon's life. 3. Everyone else's lives. If you do not choose one, all of the above will be lost. Why is Shannon's name here? The second choice has the name of the one most needed and most loved by the test taker. I believe Ken's name is written second on Jessica's test. You gave this stupid question to Jessica too? You shouldn't be worrying about Jessica, right? Right now, you are the one being tested. It really is a simple 3-choice test. Which can you throw away for the sake of the other 2? Isn't that simple? If you still can't decide, would you like me to lend you a coin? A coin? How would you choose between 3 options with something that only has 2 sides? No one would throw away their own life. So, there remain 2 choices that will leave you standing. Will you give up on everyone for the sake of the one you love? Or will you give up on the one person you love so that you save as many people as possible? Either way, you should be able to find a fitting just cause. After all, Witch of Rokkenjima is now a demon island. The sentimental relationships of the human world aren't necessary here. No one will blame you. Do as your heart desires. And ask yourself whether you're qualified to succeed the Ushimiya family headship. Or rather, make your decision as if you truly were the Ushimiya family head. Okay? Fuck you guys. Mocking me like this. Jessica crumpled the letter up and threw it on the floor. I believe your anger is quite appropriate. I also find it an exceedingly pitiful, and yet truly humorous question. How could anyone wish to die themselves? And how could anyone want to remain alive after abandoning the life of the one they love? And how could anyone massacre everyone else, as long as it's good for the 2 of them? No, Jessica-sama. Such a person could exist. This is Rokkenjima, the demon island. It is now completely cut off from the human world, and fully immersed in the spirit world like cheese fondue. The values of the human world get taken out with the trash. So please, rank the things you desire from the bottom of your heart. Whatever remains will become a fitting answer for you in this insane evening. Don't fuck with me! How could I choose any of these? If you do not choose one, all of the above will be lost. Also makes for a fine 4th option. Even choosing that should give us an amusing show. But since that choice will result in the loss of your own life in the end, I believe it would be more wise to be pure and choose the first one, your life, so that the other 2 will be saved. Everything has been entrusted to your decision, Jessica-sama. Yeah, and going from the Kinzo logic, the first is the least the third is the least valuable, first is the second least valuable, and second is the most valuable, ranked by Kinzo, I would assume. So, loved one, himself, everyone else. For Kinzo, I would imagine. Please, let me hear an answer and conviction fitting for the successor to the Ushimi family headship. I, Ronove, am sincerely hoping for a wonderful answer, fitting for the master's descendant who shares his blood. Damn it! That is, I think, Kinzo's suggestion for the answers. Though based off Jessica, George, and the others, I'm not quite sure where they would side for that. George lost both of his family. He might have a chance. Go with Shannon. Everyone else, then him. In order of priority. Jessica might go everyone else, Canon, herself. Oops, sorry. And then Battler, I think, would just flat out refuse. That scene was observed through the magic crystal ball Kinzo held. Kinzo finally couldn't hold it back, and, spreading his arms and facing the heavens, began laughing in an explosive voice. What are you wavering for, foolish grandchildren, my descendants? Isn't this problem so easy that you could answer right away? Isn't this a question that should cause you to waver less than whether to put butter or jam on your morning toast? Do you people know the correct answer? He turned to face the Chester sisters who had been waiting on him. No, my apologies. I don't know, Lord Goldsmith. Fool. Not choosing at all means game over. You foolish rabbit who cannot even choose a reason or a goal for your own life. You aren't worth a single ant that anyone might step upon without even noticing. Die. Be crushed. Disappear faster than I can blink. And what of you? I would sacrifice the first one. Your own life, sir. Weapons fight and die in battle, and weapons exist to destroy enemies and protect allies. Being able to protect those we love, and then die, is our only satisfaction, sir. Oh, a truly splendid model answer for a weapon. The immediate reply is very nice. So, have you been raised to think you'll be given an extra carrot for answering that way? That's wrong. See? Even that is wrong. See? Answering that way when you are asked is nothing more than giving the answer you've been indoctrinated with. You are the same as that other rabbit a second ago. You still live without having chosen a purpose or goal to strive for. You filth that does not deserve to live. It would suit you well to be crushed and used as fodder for other livestock. Yes, sir. Animal fodder. Would be an honor. That's wrong, right? You don't want to see anyone else die anymore, right? Why can't you accept that? Accept that the depths of your old wound are still festering and rotting. Yes, the rotting stench would make the noise wrinkle, you foolish, rotten rabbit. These are words of praise for you. Thank you very much, sir. Well then, what about you? The last one. Which of the three choices would you choose? Without wavering, I choose the second one. Oh, the second. There are not many who could stick their chest out and choose to offer the one they love as a sacrifice. Tell me your reason. Because the one you love will be lost eventually. If you don't love anyone, you won't get hurt. And if you lose someone, you still might be able to love again. So, the person you love right now isn't worth that much at all. Yeah. I see. So that is why you reach such an answer. You rabbit who has become cowardly from pain caused by love. I have heard that rabbits can die from loneliness, but just when When was it that your heart was killed? Then, Rabbit, I shall alter the question. Why don't I change the second option to, not the one you love, but the memories of the one you loved? How is that? Can you still select that one? What's this about the one you love not being worth much at all? Foolish rabbit. Filth who cannot even face up to the depths of their own love. Try and choose it. Try and choose to have the one you love forgotten. You can do it, right? I'll bet you can, right? Come on, try saying that you can, okay? Yes, I can choose it. I can choose it. Lord Goldsmith, please stop this. Enough, rabbit filth. Go to Vergilia and help keep watch on the dungeon. Disappear. The Jester sisters, with the respective old moons of the heart gouged out, escaped by disappearing. After that, even though there were no one to hear, Kinzo continued talking by himself as though in a play. Indeed, that is the nature of this charming test. In truth, no choice can be said to be correct. Instead, regardless of which answer they choose, it is about whether they can choose without hesitation, quickly, and with a resolute conviction and their own strong, unshakable will. It's their reason and their willpower that are most essential. That is what I mean, that is what I want to learn. Yes, my descendants, I am truly looking forward to what kind of answer you will show me. Me? Yes, of course, I once had the same question thrust upon me. Because I splendidly answered that devil's question, I was able to obtain gold and honor, and that which is my possession. Which answer did I choose? Do you really need me to say it out loud? Well. Yeah, that can actually happen with people too. I've heard stories of very old couples that have been for a while dying at relatively the same time. One passes and then the other goes a bit after. And there's actually science involved. That emotional trauma from like death or very heavy things physically damages your heart, and such. And you can, so hurting emotions physically causes trouble. It's not just, oh, get over it. It actually hurts. Let's see what they come up with. Or, maybe not. I think I might actually cut it up here. Leave you all on a cliffhanger for where everyone sits. And yeah, it's actually true. I've read it, and they're starting to do a bit more research on that subject. But yeah, it's actually a pretty good time to cut out. And we'll see the responses next time. Today is Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. Wow, this week went by pretty fast. I'm gonna look at trying to set some of this stuff up, at least stand it up so we can at least look at it. The microphone I've got all over here. And work at getting the box that goes with it. I keep calling it preamp, but that's not it, but I'll get that one as I go. And I can also start putting stickers on something. I'm actually stupidly excited about that. If you have something I can put it on, that's worth my time of putting a sticker on it. Anywho. No. Oh! That's what it was. It stopped recording midway through when it said there was no space. Great. Oh, I missed out on some of that. We do have this book here. I got little things to read from. So I'll read it off and see what it is. I haven't read ahead on any of this. I have no idea where this book goes. We talked again last night. What he doesn't seem to realize is that if he's familiar with someone, there isn't someone... Oh, that's what I read last time. If your first response is your first responsibility to yourself, the question is misleading. That is, it misleads the person who takes it to heart. It's like asking, must you shift your weight in order to walk? Of course you must, but anyone who concentrates first on shifting his weight will not walk well. That's an oddball one. And again, oddly related to what we just read. Is your first responsibility to yourself or others? I always forget the book. I don't know. That's something. I paid like 50 cents for it. Just nothing. And why the hell not? You guys got any other suggestions for me to read? Anything? I'm open to it. I'm always open to trying new things and stuff. Anyway, have a good day, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll see where their loyalties and their commitment lie. Hopefully it's for the good, though I have doubts. Anyway, let's see you all later.